Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Ludi Tonight on SplatoonTourney1. I'm here with my co-commentator, Super Jokera. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine.
Well, you'll love to see it. Starting off tonight, we've got a super cool Division 10A match lined up for you. It's going to be Drum and Bass versus the NCCS Llamas. Now, first off, based on the team logo, I'm going to assume that it's pronounced Drum and Bass. However, I don't think there's a way to say that without feeling and sounding like an idiot, so Drum and Bass it is. Meanwhile, we've got a college team here. These guys are representing the Newmont College of Computer Science in Salt Lake City, Utah. So you love to see more college teams breaking in.
Absolutely. I know as a fan of CCA, I really do enjoy seeing college team play, so it's nice to see more college teams moving into other parts of the Splatoon tournament scene.
Exactly. I'm not really sure. Like, I can only imagine that these people are all kind of playing in the same room. I know that's not always the case, but you love to have kind of that in-person effect going on. But regardless, as far as the teams go, Drum and Bass is currently up 1-0. They were able to win their... They got a clean sweep in their Week 1 match, so good job to them. Meanwhile, the Llamas have not played their Week 1 set, so they're going into this completely, not having played before. But I'm interested to see what they bring here to the table. First map of the set is going to be Zones on Mako Mart, which this map mode has been played in competitive for pretty much as long as it's been around, so it's not really much to be said here. Let's see what the comps are looking like. Well, we've got the... Go ahead.
See that both teams are bringing out cooler here, which is, at least from the set that I commentated last week, was a lot different than what I saw from some of the teams.
Yeah, pretty similar across the board here. I do notice the Tri-Slosher. The fact that Trivo is going to be your cooler output machine is telling me that they're not really prioritizing it that much, so that's interesting. But also, I mean, this is just a really great map for Tri in general here. First Blood on Zone does go to Drum and Bass, but Llamas are indeed trying to contest it however possible. It seems they're mostly just waiting for specials here, and they die just as soon as they get their cooler, so that's a real shame. But Drum and Bass does get controlled zone again, but it seems like they decided to use their specials and they're properly punishing them for it, but they're not getting zone yet.
Yeah, I don't know what has happened with the footage.
I presume that, so Drum and Bass just holding onto their zone control, they were able to ward off that push from the Llamas pretty well here. You see the Dualies trying to hold this rather advantageous position. They get a pick on the shot as they kind of get a little overzealous on zone here, and the cooler coming out means that they can be even more aggressive since you're not really much of the big risk of dying here. The Tri-Slosher is trying to make something happen. They're pretty much going to solo cooler this here, but they're getting outranged by the Mini. That's really not a fight you want to be taking, and the Llamas are now 2 down. Things are not looking so great. There is time to turn it around, but they're getting real set up here, and that stamp is not something to be underestimated.
Yeah, that is certainly one that you can luck out very easily on if you have the right resources, and certainly combined with the fact that they have a pencil, a crab, and a Zuka. The Llamas are going to need as much as they can to try and come back in, but unfortunately they are not able to. So first game goes to Drum and Bass here.
Yeah, that was a really good job kind of warding off that push. That seemed like that could have gone somewhere, that first push from the Llamas, but then, like, the Llamas had their specials to kind of push back in with, but they kind of just didn't really get a whole lot of stuff going on out of them, so to speak. I think they just kind of weren't in the best position there. But yeah, they got a delayed wipe at the very end, so going back to it, we can see they're just on the cusp of having the Zuka ready. The Inkjet, unfortunately, just barely too far away to take out the pencil. That could have been really huge there. We see the shot also goes down. The cooler comes out, but unfortunately the charger wasn't really able to do much with it. And I think the Tri-Slosher went down to a strike, and the crab here is going to shut down anything that comes from the right side. So yeah, that was pretty much theirs as soon as they get that delayed wipe off. So definitely well played to Drum and Bass. Getting a clean win like that right off the bat has got to feel pretty good. Let's see how they transfer that momentum into Clam Blitz on Crab Leg.
This map is certainly one that, at least from what I have seen, it either goes that you push as much as you can and you lock the enemy team out, or you just entirely stall in mid, which does seem like a lot of maps in 3, but I feel like this map is a lot more unique in that you do have ways of circumventing that, especially with the grates and that left block that you can take. But a lot of those plays do tend to be a bit risky, and it does take a little bit of just confidence in being able to take them. But if you are able to make use of them, you can certainly extend pushes as far as you need to on this map.
For sure. Personally, I just think it's shocking that we have a Splatoon 3 map with not just 2, but 3 ways into basket. That's unprecedented. But yeah, the thing is, aside from, like, the center way is pretty much the best way into basket. You can take that jump from kind of the, defending team's right side, but that's quite risky. But, I mean, you do what you have to. Coming in here, we see the Gluga Deco coming in from who was previously using the regular dualies, as well as the ballpoint in lieu of, I want to say that was... I don't remember what that was, please forgive me. Anyway, coming in here, it seems like both teams are just going to go for... It seems like the Llamas are going for kind of early specials here, whereas Drum and Bass are opting to just take the fight straight out. We see the Whale come out, that's probably going to help them get a little bit of chip damage in, and the cooler, now you've got to get moving, but oh my goodness, the Zuka shuts it down immediately, and they're coolered up too, they're ready to go. Daphlia here going in, getting a pick on the brush, and they're just going at it. They will get brought down, but not without inflicting some damage first.
Yeah. And it's also I'd like to also note on the side of Llamas that they have swapped out their cooler and some other weapon on their team from last comp to bring in a pencil and an ink brush. Pencil certainly does seem like it's going to be a great help here. In just
yes, and sorry, they were using pencil in the last game though, but the rapid and the shot remain the same.
Yeah. And ink brush as well is going to be a real big annoyance if it's able to set up and shark in places that's just may end up punishing Drum and Bass if they attempt to push in further.
Yes, indeed. And, it looks like the Llamas have pretty solid mid-control here. It looked like the shot was going for some picks there, but they ended up going down. But now that's 3 down on the side of Drum and Bass, and Albie here on the brush is going to try and get this ball in at all costs, but a lucky inkjet shot takes down 2 of them at the same time. But Albie, oh, they just barely missed it. That's so unfortunate. But, still plenty of time to turn that around. But mid-control is slowly going into the favor of Drum and Bass, so... they might want to build up their specials before they try to take any risks here.
Yeah. Drum and Bass here coming out with Bazooka. Get a pick on the brush, which is going to be important, as now that's one of 2 main front lines on the side of Llamas. As we see another 2 go down, and now we're just... seems like the map has just immediately reset back in favor. With Albie coming in with a double, only to get hit by the Zuka. This match is certainly going at this rate.
That whole sequence was just, it looks like Drum and Bass just got a really clutch kill. They're totally in control now. Then the Llamas respond with a clutch kill. Then Drum and Bass with another. Then the Llamas with another. So, a whole lot is going on, but, ultimately it's amounting to nothing here. Drum and Bass trying to mid-control here. The Whale comes out, but they're... Drum and Bass now has all their specials. Llamas are slowly building theirs and trying to get some fight going on here. Did they just get a quad with a Zuka shot? That's what that looked like, but either way, that's Drum and Bass on the board.
They just did get a quad, and with how many clams that Drum and Bass had, they easily push up into 42 now even popping even more of their specials, as they only had popped their Zukas, which left the Inkjet to just start cleaning up. They're pushing down to 27. And the Aldi comes in with the double. They're going to find the triple here to try and shut down that push, and they jump out, and that seems to be the end of the push here for Drum and Bass.
Yeah, the tension was building. They were just waiting for some sort of opportunity there. And what's crazy is that Drum and Bass still held the man advantage for most of it. That was a really effective push, but the Llamas have now started to get some kind of mid-control in. You can tell that Albi really wants to kind of get in there and wreak havoc, but they're not really getting that much of an opening here. And as long as that Zuka is active, then you're not entirely safe here. And the Zap isn't necessarily close to the Kula either. Zuka comes out, looks like it's able to take out Albi, as well as the shot as well. Clown here on the pencil, not really safe. You see that both of the members of Drum and Bass there are trying to reach in, but that's a delayed 3 down. They have an opening here. If Daffley is able to get in and provide enough paint, they do get a nice pick out of it, and it's just Albi. Unless he's able to, you know, stop them from behind, then I mean, that won't be happening. They're already getting another push in. They don't have that many clams left, but they're 3 down still. They're provided with enough time to bring some more in, and we saw them kind of daisy chain them along there, so we could definitely keep this push going if Daffley is able to get in there fast enough. Oh, okay, yes, just one more, and that's game 2.
That was certainly a very back-and-forth match for the most part, up until Drum and Bass was able to find the perfect opportunity just to get a Zuka shot in and just immediately be prepared with a push. Further that I did note is that before they did make their push, Drum and Bass had near total control of the clam economy on them, which just enabled their push to go down as far as it did.
Yes, for sure. Like, you can get picks all day, but if you don't have the clams to, you know, actually get points on the board, nothing matters. I think we're about to see that quad again, so let's just wait here. I believe it was, yeah, I believe World G was the player here. Open request to this player, please post that clip on Twitter, because I need to confirm if you actually did get a quad with one shot here. Here we go. They were all kind of stuck in this corner, and then the stream froze. So how about that? But yeah, just that's a 1 in a million shot right there. Like, what do you even say to that?
And
all I'm saying is, you know, that's got to really put some wind in your sail.
Absolutely. It's like
every frame is a movie, I'm saying. But continue.
Absolutely. It's moments like that where you just see that happen, and you just have to question almost immediately how that even happened in the first place. Because it feels nowadays like those moments like that are very rare, especially when you start getting into the competitive scene.
Oh, for sure. Maybe these people just have more experience than we originally thought. But either way, who cares? It's time for Tower Control on a Shipshape Cargo Company. Now, this map, I have personally experienced that it has the potential to be pretty snowbally. So this could potentially work in the Llama's favor, but it also couldn't. I think it could possibly benefit from some sort of comp change. I could see the Rapid and the Ink Brush working out relatively well here. Let's see if they bring any changes. We see Pastel. This is the 3rd weapon they've pulled out today. We're going with the Custom E-Leader, and I believe that was the... well, point is, we've got a Neo machine coming out from who was previously playing Rapid for the Llamas. I honestly think I like this change even better than going with Rapid Deco.
Absolutely. With how many walls are on this map, it feels like New Machine just will have a field day on this map if it's able to set up in the right spots, which it usually is able to, just given how much cover there is.
Yeah, we see Jad here already kind of exerting that pressure. They were able to take out the Zap here, but they're not really able to get much movement in. And we see the Cooler coming out for Drum and Bass. They're already making a lot of progress, and World G getting another Zuka shot right to the face. Unfortunately, the Crab can't quite fit on the tower, but the push still continues. We see the members of Llamas are just trying to get their specials up, not really having a whole lot of success in that regard just yet. Also, I want to point out that we are not seeing the pencil anymore. Rather, we're going with the ZF scope and having an end zap take up cooler duties, so to speak. We see one go down on the side of drum and bass here. The killer whale does keep people off tower just a little bit, and Albie's able to get another pick, but that doesn't really stop the push because we see they just have total control of both mid and sort of their court, and Bazooka is not really letting up either.
Absolutely. With how much this map does tend to snowball, it does kind of feel like you want to try and space out your specials a little bit more, so that way you can just continue to keep that push going. Which does appear to be what drum and bass is doing right here, with Pastel saving that Kraken, even though they did have it, instead of just immediately using it to continue their push.
Yeah, and we see the Charger here is getting rushed down. They're just trying to hold on to the strikes however possible, but oh my goodness, a flank from the Doolies is able to shut it down here, and Pippi here going for this other pick, like they're not letting up here. Unfortunately, it ends in a trade, so they're not going to have their crab, but they're still all the way pushed up. Unless Jad's able to make a huge play, that's going to be the end of the game, but unfortunately they get taken out by the Zuka, and that's drum and bass already up 3-0.
Yeah. I feels like a lot of that game did go to with how distracting Pippi was, especially on left. It kept a lot of Llama's members focused more towards the left side of the stage, as they were drum and bass was trying to break down that checkpoint, which just only allowed them to actually break it even further, even without the use of specials.
Yes, for sure. And, we see, unfortunately, Clown able to get a nice pick on the leader, but still, you don't have your strikes anymore. And it's not really all that useful when all your frontliners are way away from the tower, as you can see, because they're all the way pushed up. And World G has a potential game-saving Zuka here, and it's able to take out Jad from a distance. Jad was pretty much the last hope they had here. You had Albie dropping on the tower, but the way they were positioned, they were very unlikely to get that pick with that giant pole standing in front of them. So, unfortunately, just wasn't really in the cards there. But they still have time to turn it around, and that would be a very impressive feat. We're going to Rainmaker Hagglefish on Game 4.
All right, Rainmaker on Hagglefish. This is a map that I know used to be played quite a bit early on in the game before it was dropped, at least from most of the tournaments that I used to play on. I believe notably because of the large jump that allows you to go from around 58 points, I think, to 30.
Yeah, something like that, or 33.
Yeah, after that checkpoint. Which, if you can get that, jump, it's certainly a really big help. But it's not necessarily the one thing about this map that I feel needs to be paid attention to. Especially with the fact that the left side of the map now has a ramp. You can use that especially for flanks, which is going to be interesting to see if Albie brings out the brush again and is actually able to pull some off.
Yes, for sure, and yet it still seems like you don't really see that many left flanks on this map. Albie actually coming through with the vanilla splat roller, technically the order roller, but who cares about that kind of thing. Aside from that, though, we're pretty much seeing the same comps here, except Clown is coming out with the Rapid Pro, which is kind of one of the hotter new sort of backliney options you have going out here. It seems like Pop went in favor of the Llamas, but they're not really pushing up yet. They don't really feel super comfortable yet, but they've got their cooler out, so now is as good a time as any. But here comes that Zuka, able to shift the pace of the game on its own. Unfortunately, yeah, that's 2 down for the Llamas here, and drum and bass getting their first push off right away. They're already looking to be in pretty good shape as the Booyah Bomb comes out. Albie, though, trying desperately to get something going, but that's not going to stop them as they get just shy of the first pedestal there.
It appears as though drum and bass actually did go for the left checkpoint rather than immediately taking up the just one that's immediately in front, which I personally think I like that play because it allows, because they were keeping distraction up towards the right side of the stage, they were just able to try and get it for free. It's going to be interesting to see how to
go ahead
play off of this, all these specials now that they have them.
Right. They opted to reset the Rainmaker, however, all of the members of Drum and Bass were mid. I like this bubble placement, though, because you're kind of giving a bit of a safe entrance for your teammates into mid, because none of the members of Drum and Bass are able to effectively attack it. But Pippi coming in with a pick on the machine there, but they do go 2 down. Now's as good a time as any to get the push going. The whale comes out, that's pushing World G a little bit out of position here, but they're not pushing up yet, and they just died with their cooler, and now Drum and Bass are already back in control of everything. And World G coming through with the Zuka. Oh my goodness, that was an arc, if I've ever seen one.
That was a wonderful shot right here, and it seems as though Drum and Bass is going for the left checkpoint again. This time they are able to find it with 3 of the members of Llamas currently dead.
Yeah, and Pippi went on a flank again, able to take down, I think that was the Zap there. That was pretty much the only person they had defending at the moment because they were all respawning. Pastel here in a pretty solid spot, able to take out Albie from a distance here, as well as provide a little bit of extra cover to their teammates. That's 2 down on the side of the Llamas here. It's just Jad pretty much left up on the front point, but they're going into a 1v3 at the moment, and they are not close to any of their specials. So you've got to rely on raw mechanics here, but oh my goodness, they just decide, you know what, no, you can't have it. And they're arguably out of position here. But that's 3 down for the Llamas because the Zuka was putting in a lot of work, and Daphlia is here on the flank once more. Jad does put a stop to it, but still, that's got to put you pretty far on the back foot, and oh my goodness, there's that jump you talked about.
Absolutely. That reset there didn't seem to do much for the Llamas, as it only really just put them in a position to where it seems as though Drum and Bass is going to just be able to push immediately off of that.
Yeah, once more, Jad was pretty much the only player they had left on the defense, and they got taken out, so that is Drum and Bass already coming out very strong in a relatively quick 4-0 thus far. Llamas looking like a reverse sweep is in the cards if they want to pull the win on this one. Yeah. Now, in all fairness, though, we are going to Barnistle and Dime, not Barnacle. I'm happy to see that we have not fixed this from last season. Come on, guys, get with it. This can be a pretty snowbally map as well, so if the Llamas have a good opening, we could potentially see a little bit of a momentum shift here. I think it's mainly just in terms of, if their comp is well suited to it. I could see them bringing back the Ink Brush here because that could potentially throw off any sort of backline action you might see from someone like Pastel. What comp changes might you expect to see here?
I think on the side of Drum and Bass, I'm not expecting to see too many comp changes. Their comp seems very well suited for just being able to hold out on walkouts, which is what they've seemingly been effective at so far throughout this whole set. As for Llamas, I honestly am not too sure. I could reasonably see bringing back the pencil, especially on a map like this, just to give you some leverage towards pushing back in. The brush especially is another pick where I could personally see them bringing it back, especially for that left drop.
Yes, absolutely. And, pencil, zones, goes hand in hand. I really don't know if there's that much explaining that needs to be done on why that's effective there. But indeed, pencil coming out from Pastel there, definitely didn't get that backwards. And you know what? It looks like the Llamas have just said, well, you know what? Screw it. At this point, might as well just use whatever we're feeling most confident in. Go out in a blaze of glory. And honestly, I can respect it. We see Drum and Bass is already taking up pretty solid positions here. World G getting in a very, aggressive position. The Wiper here is going for something. They're already off to a double. Make that, it's not quite a triple. Jad here on the Dowser Dualies, custom Dowser Dualies, actually, with the triple strikes. It seems like they have a solid potential for an opening here. They do get zone neutralized. They do get a nice pick on Pippi. That's kind of a underrated problem player they've been having to deal with thus far. It is 2 down, but they're not pushing up yet, though. Akumu trying to get something done with the Zuka. They do get a pick on the Wiper and get controlled zone just barely for a little bit, which, honestly, getting just a little bit of penalty can be enough. but they're getting pushed back tremendously. Do they notice the flank, though? Oh, it's the triple splashdown. Able to keep momentum up for just a little bit, and it seems like Pastel was just barely out of position there. Tri-strikes come out. Doesn't look like they're able to create much of an opening there, unfortunately, though.
Yes. The custom blaster and double Dowser's pick does seem very interesting on their side, especially since it probably can help out a little bit with walkouts. But if drum and bass is able to keep this up, it seems like they're just going to be able to get towards the very end of the game here.
Oh, for sure. Just a little over 20 picks left, and they have that Zuka. The Llamas were able to neutralize for just a second here, and the Tri-Strikes get completely wasted on their opening area here. And they go 2 down. I don't know if there's much else that can be done unless Akumu can win this fight and everything else that comes out. But they get pushed back by the shot and the hammers up in their base, and there's nothing you can do about that. That's drum and bass taking the set clean 5-0.
That was a very clean game that I saw from drum and bass. Even when they didn't have all of their members and had lost control, they were very quick to get the zone back.
Oh yes, for sure. I mean, again, in general, this map can be a little bit difficult to really get in on, but still, they did a good job of making the Llamas waste their specials, so to speak. I mean, we saw them use the Tri-Strikes kind of in their own base, and, it's not like they had much of a... it's not like there was that much else they could do there, but, you see the 2 main aggressors go down without their cooler, for that matter. The dualies went down, but it doesn't really matter that much because, everyone else is so pushed up. We see World G is taking on a very aggressive position here as Akumu is forced to back up. And again, the hammers up in there, they're able to take out the pencil. That's really kind of the nail in the coffin for that match there.
Yeah. Overall, though, really, I would say really well played by both teams. I think Llamas, especially on that Clans game, felt really at the top of their game, being able to play at the near same pace as drum and bass. To lock them out for as long as they did in mid.
Oh yes, for sure. And once again, open request, World G, post that clip if you see this. Assuming you got one, which why wouldn't you? But regardless, yeah, very impressive performance from drum and bass. I'm trying to look into a little bit more from them, and it appears they did not play in low ink this time around, which is unfortunate. I feel like they had the potential to go pretty far if that was any indication, but definitely keep an eye on these guys moving forward. So, if that was any indication, and if the previous set was any indication, we could be looking at a serious contender here, the way that these guys were, playing together. And, the Llamas, keep your heads up. I'm sure that there's, more improvement to be had right around the corner.
Yeah. We are now switching to a live view as to what's going on the main Splatoon tourney.
Absolutely. It's already
yes,
a minute 30 left.
In case you wanted 2 more commentators on top of another set there, we see it's currently pretty split over on the main channel. But that's not to say you should go away and look at this. Oh my goodness, the stamper. Anyway, that's going to be kind of the end of the line for us here on this particular set. So I believe in about, at the hour, we should be moving on to our other set here. Rule of 4 going 3-2, but again, that's for them to commentate, not me. I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, where can the people find you, Jokera?
You can find me on Twitter and some various other sites using the tag Supera Jokera.
Well, on the other hand, you can find me on Twitter at BuffSplashdown. I pretty much just post, and that's it. But in all seriousness, you can see me commentating other stuff occasionally. At this point, it's mostly Dabble stuff, occasionally IPL, but I'm also going to be commentating on this intermittently throughout the season. So, your least favorite commentator coming in, be sure to check that out. But either way, we appreciate you checking out this set. Definitely, it's worth keeping an eye on the lower divisions as well. And coming up next, I believe we're going to have a Div 7 match between Dale Sushi and Ziphius. I've never heard of that, but sounds very cool. And you can see your commentators coming in for that as well. That's going to be at 9 EST, so stick around, just a mere 22 minutes. I think you can wait that out. We hope you enjoyed that set, and we hope you've enjoyed this one. And thank you very much for watching Ludi tonight on Splatoon Tourney.
And we are back here on Looney tonight on SplatoonTourney1 with a Division 7 matchup featuring Zippius against Day Old Sushi. My name is Spicy and I am joined on the mic by Jake. Jake, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Spicy. I'm excited for this matchup that's coming up. Div 7 matchup. Div that doesn't usually see a lot of people out like play outside of low ink and other sort of, because it's in between that from the ink up eligible and like LSL eligible and the being low ink and being like Div 6 and Div 5, where a lot of those teams like to get streamed for some reason. I've seen a lot of Div 5 and Div 6 matchups being streamed. But yeah, I mean, this is exciting. It's a nice change of pace, I guess, from all the top teams that also all the low ink band top teams that get streamed here. But I mean, with the teams, Ziphius, I know not much about, but Dale Sushi is a fan favorite. A lot of people know them. They've been around for God knows how long.
Oh yeah, Day Old Sushi, as you mentioned, a fan favorite. They're one of the more teams that center around like a adult population. I think everyone on the team is 25 and up. Zippius, I think they're relatively newer, at least in comparison to Day Old Sushi, but Zippius has already off to a strong start on the season, being 1-0, and I think they went 5-0 in their previous matchup. The most notable thing that I've noticed from them is they run a double bucket comp with a large focus on the blob deco for that Kraken play, and it's really cool seeing that, along with like Entry for their core output, but they also have some other creative weapons. And Dailed Sushi, another team who's, despite being 0-1 on the season, they could easily turn that around. They're a team who we've mentioned before. There's a fan following for them, one of the more fan favorite teams, especially in the lower div community, where while we are in Div 7, which is in that weird gray area where you see a lot of 5-6, especially around like low ink time of day, but you don't really see like D7 as much as you do with the other divisions. So it's going to be really cool going into this matchup. And then we're going to be starting off this with Mako Splat Zones.
Yeah, this is this map is a lot more of it feels a lot more even than I guess some of the other maps, because it's not hard. It's hard to lock out once you cap the zone, because you have to pretty much go into their spawn. There's no way to get up to that plat area on the top left that you would usually see people go up to in go into in the other modes, unless I am mistaken. I played this map yesterday, so hopefully I would remember correctly. But as we get into it here, like you said, the box is there. But as we get into it, we see the interesting comps already coming out from the side of both teams. We have the E-Leader scope coming out from the side of Day Old Sushi, and the Decav and the new Stringer coming out on the side of Ziphius.
Yeah, really interesting comps from both sides. I knew the Wellstring from Ziphius was an option on their side here, and you see that it's working out wonders for them as a whole as they quickly get control of the zone, but immediately lose it not too long after. Dailed Sushi starting to rock back here, loses control of their zone instead now, and the restarter coming in from Ziphius. Quick lead change immediately, quick zone swaps as look in this first 30 seconds. We're already into what's been an exciting game so far.
Yeah, as we see here, the first real control of this zone is going to Ziphius here. They're able to get the splash there that was sharking on that right side, trying to just maybe get a pick and get out. They have a good amount of control on the zone, and they have the ability to sort of stay back, but still get some value. But the Decav able to get one, able to get two there, and help the rest of the team just be ready for it. Disadvantage for the push. Help Dale Sushi be at a disadvantage for this push here. But I mean, once the specials come in, I'm expecting to see Dale Sushi maybe cap it here. As I say that though, to go down on the side of Dale Sushi, however, it's a 2-for-2 trade there as well for the side of Ziphius. So it'll be interesting to see what Dale Sushi can do here.
Oh, Dale Sushi swaps the zone at the very last second. They go 3 down in the process, and Xiphias takes control once again and translates that into an immediate wipe. But Dale Sushi doing amazing jobs with their backs against the wall to at least extend the game longer here, which is absolutely critical for them. You are seeing a lot of great plays from the side of Xiphias. One notable thing here now, also the Dreadbringer being one of those big picks, now being the only one up as Dale Sushi is starting to get some momentum here. Starting to see Thanatos on their stack, just trying to hold on with that E-leader. And now D finding an extra pick there, having that crab tank online as Dale Sushi once again has control of the zone, is going to try and maintain it for as long as possible here as they're finally out of their penalty.
Yeah, they finally got out of the penalty, but the decav able to get 2 before getting traded out. That's going to be huge. And this should be... Actually, no, this should be Dale Sushi being able to cap the zone here because they take down that Dreadbringer, which is probably the best paint on the team right now. The decav's coming back in on that right stack there. They're gonna have the bubble to be able to keep themselves alive for much longer, but they do pull out the Zuka. The good bubble timing, they're able to pretty much counter the Zuka there. The Dreadbringer going down. No, it's the decav actually starting going down. The Dreadbringer used their reef slider there, and back in control of Xiphias here, and they seem to have good lead here. They have some specialists that are able to both displace and get picks on the enemy team. We see that as Dale Sushi going 2 down to the shot there.
Yeah, and now Jose on this shot is going to get another pick in the trade situation, and D having to fire that crab tank off but getting splattered out immediately. And the way Xiphias is playing and the way they are positioned, it does look like they are going to be able to take this game 1 as they do right there and quickly get up to a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and that was great great coordination from the side of Xiphias there. They were able to really, once they capped that zone, they really never kept their foot off the gas there. We saw a lot of that decav just pushing in and trying to just get picks, which they were doing great with that, and that led for a lot of situations where Dale Sushi wanted to retake, but they weren't able to they weren't able to have to necessarily do that because they were they were lower on players than Xiphias. As we see here that Zuka, this is Jose here getting 2, and then he comes back around and gets the 3rd one on here. That was really the point where I started to think it was over, because that's only one person, and yeah, they had the cooler and everything, but that's delayed like 3 down, and with that the crab going down there, that's going to be, they don't have that much paint because they have they have the shot and the splash, but they don't have that much. They don't have as much paint as Xiphias has with that E-leader, because the E-leader can't really paint that well.
That's true, yeah. I think that Xiphias just did a really good job of capitalizing on those multiple down situations. You saw what they did with Jose at the end, where they get 1 pick, then 2, and then translating that into a 3rd, and all of that results in them being able to just control the zone. And that's going to be really important here, like just that amount of that ability to get those team fights, win those, and consistently have a numbers advantage. As we go into Crab Capital, you mentioned that there's already like a good paint advantage on the side of Xiphias, and now having their fighting prowess too. If we're able to get into a good advantage state multiple times, that should just lead into them being able to score consistently on their side, and really up for Dale Sushi to see if they're going to be able to make those adjustments, which they should be able to do. It's a team that we've mentioned has been around for a while, definitely knows what they have to be doing in these game modes, especially in tournaments, to come back. It's a long set. Ludi is best of 9. You have to win 5. So it wouldn't be surprising to see Dale Sushi get back in the win column here and equalize the set when we eventually get into it.
Yeah, but the couple key points when it comes to Crab Leg Capital, especially on the Clam Blitz mode, and the big one you have to worry about specifically with Clams itself, is that Clam economy. So we'll have to see with Dale Sushi, will they be able to have control of that Clam economy? Stop from keeping their clam economy strong, and not allowing Xiphias here to be able to have as many clams as they want when they push, or just not giving them the ability to push at all. You know, but with on the side of Xiphius, you know, they also have a lot of paint where they will be able to grab clams quickly without having to worry about staying in enemy paint here. We see around the same comps come out from both sides here. The splash is being traded out for a decav, and that's 2 down on the side of Xiphius, and we see those. If Xiphius has a bunch of clams, they really did well at getting a bunch of clams immediately so they can have a quick push. But it's all about you know, team fights in this situation.
Yeah, and you're seeing that Dale Sushi is at least taking control of mid. D now on that elbow, just firing off with that crab tank on that bridge, just trying to do what they can here. Because now Dale Sushi is starting to lead in the clam economy, which is so important, as you were mentioning. Kevin now having the Zuka online with the shot and getting a pick here in mid. But the Zuka takes care of them. That's on Jose, finding the mark once again. And now you see that Xiphius does have a power clam. They are starting to move up forward. Jose is going to be going down right before the basket. Dion going down on defense here, but huge defensive plays from the side of Deo Sushi is going to at least stall out a big offensive push for now. And there's a power clam online on both sides, just trying to see what's going to be able to happen here. Is the Booyah Bomb coming in towards the basket, and now Xiphius is going to try and see if they're going to be able to make their way into the basket, but it's been so hard just trying to get these offensive moves here. Jose pushing up really far here, but no big move has been made yet, as Sluggy trying to just stay alive and get wiped as Dale Sushi's going to try and capitalize.
Yeah, and they are going up quick. They're grabbing clams. There's the big clams that are on this map specifically. The clams that are literally like right by that basket. You can grab those. You know, if you're in the middle of a push and those pop up, that's going to be great for you. Dale Sushi going 2 down. That's a delayed 3 down pretty much, I think, here. And something I forgot to completely mention on the side of Xiphius is they switched to that machine. As I say that, the Wellstring going down, that machine's going to be really good, as that's going to allow them to poke under those ledges, and especially under the grates. They'll be able to get people that are unsuspecting under those grates, from under those grates right there, when it comes to pushing.
Yeah, and you see that it's really good for them, or for Xiphius, if they want to be able to come back. Having that machine there is going to be really helpful here. But you're seeing that Dale Sushi is playing a very strong defensive game, as Jose, I think, just finds another pick with the Zuka, and they got another pick right there. A 3-0 situation, as all of Xiphius is breaking their way in. They are quickly getting a lead here, already taking that from 100 to 50. Once again, maximizing on the advantage state and forcing another 3-down situation on the side of Dale Sushi. A delayed wipe here once again, and a huge numbers advantage for the side of Xiphius, but the basket is going to close. But after all that, they have the lead now.
Yeah, they have that lead, and they have, you know, they pretty much already have another good push set up with the fact that they managed to pretty much wipe Dale Sushi twice here. They have so much. They did a really good job at pushing forward after they had already wiped. As we see here, that 3 down, it's wipeout on the side of the old Sushi, and this is going to be a huge score for the side of Xiphius. They might be able to even KO it if they get enough clams here.
Yeah, it's already down to the 22, and the Wellstring has quite a few clams, has a power, another 2-down situation now, but Dale Sushi is starting to stay alive. Wait, the power clam isn't going to go in. The basket closes at the very last second. Jose still has it in a very good state here, though, and has that Zuka online. You saw that Xiphius is already in a great situation here, and with the power clam up, they could try and make this happen now, but it looks like Dale Sushi is going to be able to hold on once again. Maybe not for long, though. The power clam still by the enemy basket, making that gone instead. But Xiphius spoken. How has 7 has a power clam here once again at the basket, and they are going to maybe end this game once again. But now it's looking like it's a bit rough here with a multiple down situation on the side of Xiphius. It does look like Dale Sushi getting these necessary picks are able to hold on just for a bit longer.
Yeah, they're holding on for a bit longer, but really, unless they can get a huge push started here, get a wipe or something. As I say that, 2 going down on the side of Dale Sushi, but realistically here, they're in such a bad spot that I really don't even see. Unfortunately, I don't see any sort of comeback happening. Of course, this is Splatoon, so anything can happen, but they're down by a lot. They don't have a clam economy here, and they really, the only thing to their name is mid controls. They have a good amount of paint on mid. That's about it. And with just under 10 seconds left, they really have to start, you know, taking fights. They have to start trying to play better as a team itself. So we see the Zuki coming out here from both sides. Kevin here able to get one. That's going to be a good start. Kevin trying to get in there, not able to get anything, and with the ball going down, 3 going down, that's a delayed wipe. That is about it for Day Old Sushi, and Ziphius is going to go up 2-0.
Now I know Ziphius had a power clamp too at the end just to rub salt in the wound. Ziphius, a lot of great play on their end, especially in that second half of that game. You saw multiple wipes, multiple delayed wipes, and all of that just leading to a massive boost in scoring. Once they got that first push, like halfway through the game, it was very hard to stop them. Day Old Sushi, we mentioned this before about how they had a lot of control of mid. You saw them have the paint. They got that opening push as well, but you see that as you can see now that Ziphius, there's the pick with that Zuka and all of that. There was a few picks before that too. Sluggies and able to move their way in. Jose moves up as well, and all those clamps just start pouring in on the side of Ziphius, and that just led to them being able to take the lead. And you saw just they were able to just make a huge advantage out of that.
Yeah, they managed to get 3 picks there, and they were able to just break this game wide open, bringing all the way down to 44. And they had so much space already and so much paint there that they were able to easily just make another ball and score again, which got them all the way down to 16. And at that point, Day Old Sushi was in a position where they had to try and at least get picks to be able to push up and start having that clam economy. But then you look at the clam economy, and it's all on the side of Ziphius as well. So they were in a very bad spot from pretty much the first push there, and they really had nothing. They really couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, and Ziphius is now going in with a lot of momentum as we go into ship shape, tower control, a map mode, or especially tower control as a mode as a whole is really defined by momentum and that advantage state. It becomes very snowball heavy at times, regardless of what map it is. And the way Ziphius has been playing in both of the previous games, if they're able to get an advantage, they will probably start to run away with it. A lot of it on now for Day Old Sushi is going to be either they have to strike early and get a big lead, or it's going to feel like they're going to have to figure out a way to just stop the momentum of Ziphius in some way possible. What are you thinking from the side of Day Old Sushi? Like, what do you want to see come out from them in this game 3?
That's a hard one to say because a lot of their weapons that they've been playing so far, especially the E-Leader, this is where it's really good, especially on the tower control. It's hard to say really what weapons they play that'll work out. So I'm interested to see what comes out from them. But you talked about it here with the snowballing of this map. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kraken, or we see we were gonna probably see Crab, as we see here the V-Try, the double slosher coming out from the side of Ziphius, and the splashdown not coming out from the side of Day Old Sushi. That's an interesting choice, but I kind of like it.
Kind of like it too, yeah. Having that, not only the suction bomb on the knot, but also just the bigger, fast-paced splashdown all as well, just to get in a bit of a panic button mode, but also just getting any people off the tower, which is huge for the side of Day Old Sushi if they ever find themselves in a defensive situation. But they're already going to be able to take the tower, going to take it to 5 points ahead, and start to fall back. Ziphius now going to be able to move the tower on their own, having to attack the core on the tower, taking the lead right back. And now it's going to see if they're going to be able to hold all of this momentum with this double bucket comp, splashdown coming out from the side of Day Old Sushi, and then eventually going to help translate that into a couple picks. Now, it's going to be interesting to hear to see if Day Old Sushi is going to be able to respond with some plays of their own, but Dazuka once again just helping find those picks, and Ziphius still having momentum in this first minute.
Yeah, and I mean, so far this entire set, Jose's been really good on those Zukas, getting another one, and they're all bunched up as well. He could have gotten more if he knew where they were. They marked them a little bit too late there, I think. But those Zukas have been so on point this entire set. They're Ziphius here able to get another Zuka out with their double Zuka comp here. They're getting to that second checkpoint, and here's the snowballing that we've seen. That second checkpoint is gone. It's very easy to get to that that KO from there. As we see here, 3 down on Day Old Sushi, and that's gonna be it. That's ship-shaped tower for you.
That is ship-shaped tower for you, but it's also just the theme of Zippius this first 3 games in dominant fashion. Once they get control of whatever objective it is, they start to run away with it, and Jose in particular has been really popping off on with that splatter shot, and especially with the Trizuka. It feels like every time we look at Jose's POV, there is going to be at least one Zuka finding its mark. And now when Zippius having 2 Zukas in play, especially the Neo sloshing machine, it's gonna make things a lot harder for Dale Sushi just to stay alive. You see them roll past the second checkpoint, and really they've been rolling this entire game.
Yeah, I mean that's a great way to put it. We've seen like little spurts from Day of Sushi, but we haven't seen the full stream come out of them being strong and being able to contend with Ziphius. Ziphius has felt like they've been in control for most of the game, and if Day of Sushi wants to be able to try and keep this and stay in this game and be able to really try and make a comeback here, they've got to start one map at a time, and for them they would want it to start on game 4 here on Rainmaker Hagglefish.
Oh yeah, and Rainmaker Hagglefish, as much as I will admit, it's one of my favorite map mode combinations ever in Splatoon 3. It's extremely volatile. After that first checkpoint, it's just completely defined by that jump from the right checkpoint up into their court, and it's like it takes off so many points. And really, it's whoever gets that first checkpoint is going to be able to get a huge lead, especially if there's a big numbers advantage on their side. Ziphius, with the way they've been playing, this is a map mode combination that really helps their style of play, because you see them win a lot of these team fights, and then Rainmaker Haggle promotes the opportunity to just steal so many points in quick succession. But on the flip side of things, it also does open up for a chance of a comeback here. Day Old Sushi could do the exact same thing, even if they are the second team to break that first checkpoint. So there's still a lot potentially here. There's a lot of Splatoon that could still be played, but Day Old Sushi, I feel like they have to win this game in order to stand a chance in this set. And as you mentioned, one game at a time is all they need to be thinking about right now. And with a team that's been around as long as they have, as experienced as they are, this would be the game that they start to make a comeback on.
Yeah, this feels like if you want to still have a chance at winning this, unless you miraculously make a reverse sweep from game 5 to game 9, Day Old Sushi has to win this. This will give them some sort of momentum going into the next map. And with how you talked about it on Hagglefish here, it's very easy to get a lot of points, but depending on how well your team fights go. And Ziphius has been playing their team fights, really well. They've been able to get 2-3 down in a lot of situations just by playing together and forcing Day Old Sushi to take, into 2v1 situations here. We're getting into this game, and we see the Inkjet decav on the side of Ziphius, and pretty much the same comp coming out from this side of Day Old Sushi. But I'm interested to see here what they were thinking with the Inkjet there, and seeing what the Inkjet has that is better than the bubble one especially on Rainmaker.
Yeah, Zippy is also opting to not run a cooler in this situation. Having Neo Splash as their big support shooter in the short range is going to make this interesting. They have been playing very fast, but the lack of Tacticooler might make things very difficult, which is very interesting because you do see Tacticooler always having a niche in Rainmaker, as Sluggy is going to be splashed out with that splash down from the side of Dale Sushi, who's able to pick up the Rainmaker, having some cooler buffs online as well, as they try to first break that checkpoint, but Jose once again finding a pick with that Trizuka, making things extremely difficult for Deo Sushi to just break past mid here.
Yeah, we see D trying to get something going there, but unable to do anything. That's 3 down on the side of Day Old Sushi. We talked about it, those team fights. as we see here, Xiphias should be able to get the checkpoint here. They do get the checkpoint. They opt for that right checkpoint, which is a very interesting choice, but I mean, they should be able to get a good amount of points off of this.
It should be, yeah. Xiphias, though, is 2 down in this situation, and Deo Tsushi having a couple specials online, Tactical being one of them. They're going to have some buffs. They pick up the Rainmaker, trying to work their way back through mid. I'm interested to see if they're going to push middle, or if they're going to be pushing on that left side, just like Xiphias did here. And now Deo Tsushi having a numbers advantage once again. They could finally start to make their way. If they're able to just break through this court, the decap and the side of Xiphias is going to be going down. It does look like they're pushing mid, and now it's going to be here. If this is the time for Deo Tsushi to make a comeback, it's going to have to start right now, but they go 2 down, and the Rainmaker going down as well in mid. As the first 2 minutes, Xiphias is the only one to break check.
Yeah, and I feel like Deo Tsushi's playing really passive here. What a shot there from Thanos. Wow. Barely seeing the head and able to just lock on. That's the threat of an Elier player here, as we see Xiphias is really just trying to stall it on that right side. They're not doing much about pushing it up there, just really stalling it, because that's a really bad spot for the attacking team. That's a really bad spot for Deo Tsushi specifically, because you have to make that jump right there that we see right in front of us. So either that, or you have to back up like this and take it across mid here. They do have the numbers advantage, I believe, going into this. One going down on the side of Xiphias, but Dankjet coming out. The Rainmaker's trying to push it up, and they were really aggressive on that. A little bit, maybe too aggressive, compared to the last push, which was overly passive. And we see there one coming from the splash down there, as well as the decap. The decap picking up the Rainmaker. I don't know if that was purposeful or accidental, and it's just a slaughterhouse at that point. Literally everyone going down on the side of Deo Tsushi. A great team fight win for the side of Xiphias. They should be able to push this Rainmaker a little bit farther, but Deo Tsushi with a minute and 40 left, they still don't have that checkpoint.
Yeah, and that checkpoint is everything here, because if you look at the side of Xiphias, they haven't taken it very far past that first checkpoint, and you know how volatile this map can be. Deo Tsushi is still very much in a position to win this game, but they only have 90 seconds to do so here. The Rainmaker looks like it is going to be resetting back into mid here, and Azuka from Jose is once again in play. Not going to find its mark this time, though, but it does look like the bubble is going to be bursting pink. Deo Tsushi having the Rainmaker once again. This is their 3rd time, I think, trying to break into that first checkpoint, and if they get it this time, it might be everything they need here. They are going to be going down right before the pedestal once again, though, and Xiphias is holding strong with Thanatos finding another pick, and that's a 3-down situation actually on Xiphias, and you're seeing that, wait, they haven't broken the check yet. Oh, okay, but
they have one.
They have the checkpoint now, but okay.
They got a little excited there.
They have the lead, though.
They do get the lead after that miscommunication. Luckily, they were able to get the lights out there to be able to save them from making that mistake. I can't imagine what the call was like there, as we see the Zuka coming out from Kevin, able to get one before getting traded out. But I mean, it's only a 2-point lead here for the side of Deo Tsushi, so they can lose it very quickly. You know, the Rainmaker is in a very precarious spot, but that's 2 down on the side of Deo Tsushi. They really only need to push it 2 points. That's a delayed 3 down. It's up to D. D isn't able to get it. They're going to get the lead. They're going to get all the way down to 33.
Oh, and this is going to set for an interesting overtime situation, but never mind. Xiphias breaks bubble and picks up the Rainmaker to go up 4-0 in this set, setting them up for a match point. A lot of that game is actually pretty close. You saw a lot of great defense from both sides here. We didn't really see Hacklefish be as chaotic as it could be with the big turns in terms of like points, but it shaped up for a really intense match. That really felt like it could have gone either way, but really it's the ending here that I think was just everything pretty much. You already saw that Deo Tsushi got the lead, but just a couple things placed on the side of Xiphias. You saw them just translate a few picks, and then was able to just lead to them getting the win here. You saw this really clutch pick right before the switch on from the Rainmaker, actually getting a massive pick there, and was able to just jump up, dodge D on the Nautilus, and that was the lead for them.
And this is more just a game of what ifs. Like what
Yes.
if what if Dale Sushi didn't miss the checkpoint immediately? They could have gotten a big lead from that. What if D stayed alive there and was able to stop that Rainmaker before it got the lead? What if Kevin didn't go down? It really is just a big what if type situation there, because there were so many things that if one little thing was changed in those fights, it would have gone the other way for Day Old Sushi. But it was a very unfortunate game. As we get into the, like you said, it's set point for the side of Ziphius, and we go into Barnacle and Dime.
Splat Zone's Barnacle and Dime too. So we saw that on Mako. Ziphius, once they got control, was able to just run away here. But now the way that Deo Sushi has been playing, you notice a bit stronger defense here from their side. The E-Leader has been making those picks. Thanatos is getting their shots, and it was just like, as you mentioned, a matter of what if. But Dale Sushi is very much capable of stealing a game here, and it's definitely one game at a time still. In order to win in a reverse sweep, you have to start with a win on game 5. And from the side of Ziphius, while not as clean of a win as it has been for them, they're still playing with a ton of momentum. And I think if they're able to just use any of that momentum in this next game, this set will probably be theirs. But Splatoon, anything can happen, like you've been saying. We might be in for a really interesting game 5.
Yeah, and I mean, it's easy to just hit the panic button coming into this last game if you're Day Old Sushi, like, hey, we're about to lose this set, just panic. But really, your goal, you want to stay calm during this. You want to imagine that you can still win this, because you can. If you're Day Old Sushi, you can still win this. You can get Barnacle, and then have that reset momentum and have the mental that, hey, we just won. We're still in this. And they can get back into it. Like I keep saying, one game at a time here. So we see Tri-Slosher Carbon from the side of Ziphius, and we see the ballpoint coming out from D on Dale Sushi. That's a weapon that we haven't seen be played in forever.
Wow, there's some very interesting decisions from both teams here. We're seeing double Zuka on both sides, but Ziphius immediately translating into a 3-down situation. You're seeing a vanilla Tri-Slosher as well, too, as well as the Guga Gui Deco. And that's just a really different comp, very off meta compared to what you typically see. Even the Carbon Roller Deco having that Trizuka instead of the V-Shot, but you're seeing that Ziphius has quickly erupted into a huge lead here, multiple down once again, and there's just so much momentum on their side as Deotsuchi is going to try and fight back as much as they can here, but E-Man on this vanilla try just going to try and do what they can here just to keep this lead here.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is that neither of these teams have cooler. Yes. So if you get 2 or 3 down, you're in a good position to cap this zone immediately. We see D able to get one with the Inkjet. They're going to try, they get 2 down, they're going to be able to cap this zone again, I believe, unless, yeah, they're going to be able to cap this zone again. We see the Wavebreaker and the Zuka coming out at the same time. A very strong combo if you're able to get a couple of people marked with that Wavebreaker. We see here 3 coming up on the side of Ziphius and 3 going down on the side of Dale Sushi, which is going to help Ziphius cap that zone and keep their lead.
Yeah, and Ziphius now at a point where they just have to work through their penalty and just trying to hold his own as long as they can here. The lack of cooler, as you've mentioned, is going to make things a bit more difficult because now you see how volatile things can be without it, because when you go down, you are down for a while. The Zuka duel instead going in favor of Ziphius, though. Now, Zuka's still on the side up for Day Old Sushi as they still have control of the zone. D and Jet once again. Now, it does look like they are going to be able to work their way out of their penalty. Maybe not. Maybe a commentator's curse, but there is a 2-down situation on the side of Ziphius as Day Old Sushi in a 2-down situation as well. They've at least worked their way out of their penalty. Zion being the only one alive here and not going to be able to jump out in time as Ziphius now in control of the zone and going to try to fight their way through this penalty.
Yeah, as you say that, the one going down to the E-Leader, and you saw there another example of why, a lot of teams run, a lot of people run cooler. You're allowed to play more aggressive and not be punished for it because you can quickly jump out here. As we see the Inkjet getting 1, getting 2, almost getting 3, getting the assist there. But that's 3 down for the side of Dale and Sushi, and it is looking close to over already. The final points are ticking down for the side of Ziphius. 1 going down on the side of Ziphius, but they have the rest of the team doing really well at locking it down. And Ziphius are your winners of this match, 5-0.
Zippius, the general theme of this set for them has just been getting into that advantage and then just holding down the objective. It's been really prominent for them, and so you just see them win all these fights. It's been like that's really where they've shined in that coordinated team fight setting. Every single game, it really just felt like it came down to can they win a team fight and then translate that into points, and it's worked that way every single time, no matter what map, no matter what mode. Zippius has played absolutely phenomenal, and I could be wrong here, but not only are they just 2-0 in this set, but I think they might be 10-0 in games. Meanwhile, for Deo Sushi,
Wow.
0-2 in their terms of like um the set, but in their sets counts. But there's still time. Ludi has 5 weeks. They could still bring things back. There were some great moments from their side, as we've mentioned and pointed out a few times.
Yeah, they definitely showed signs of promising signs, I should say, of anything and of being able to compete with these guys. Really, the Hagglefish Rainmaker game was definitely the biggest and the closest game that we had seen. But you talked about it. Ziffy is 10-0 in their games. That's hard to do. Managing to 5-0 twice in both your sets. And again, you said it with Day Old Sushi. There's still time to keep going. They have 3 more weeks, but if you're Dale Sushi, you're kind of in a must-win situation here. You have to win out for the rest of the weeks here to be able to qualify for playoffs. Because if you lose one more, you're gonna have 3 losses, and that's hard. That's hard to get back because only the top 2 teams from each group qualify for playoffs.
Yes, that's completely true. Dale Sushi is basically in a must-win situation for the rest of the season. Zippius, on the other hand, they have some flexibility, but I think they're probably going to want to go for a very dominant run in this division where that probably doesn't just extend to winning this conference and going to playoffs. They're probably looking to win Division 7 of Ludi, which would be very impressive for them to do, but the way they've been playing, it's very possible. But we've mentioned this multiple times. It's all going to come down to approaching every game, every set, just one at a time here. Week 3 coming up soon, and then for both these teams, and that's going to be very good for both of them just to get some momentum going for the back half of the season. But I think that is going to be wrapping it up for us two here on Splatoon Tourney 1. We are going to be rating Splatoon Tourney. But before that, Jake, it's been a pleasure casting with you. Where can the good people of the Splatoon scene find you?
The good people of Splatoon scene can find me on Twitch and Twitter at JCroot0, and you can find me all across the Splatoon 3 categories. Spicy, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at 2SpicyBM and on Twitch at spicy_BM. While that is it for us tonight on Splatoon Tourney 1, we will be giving you some extra coverage on Splatoon Tourney, so don't go away from your screens. There's still some great Splatoon action here tonight.